Hey everybody, welcome back to our WWJD series. Pardon me, as we are into day 12. You guys are almost 2 weeks into this, and I hope that you are enjoying it as much as I am. This is a very packed lesson here, so I'm going to try to be as quick as I can. Bear with me. I'm going to try to explain very clearly, but at the same time, try not to beat around the bush too much, because there's a lot in this very small thing. Remember what we're doing right now is we're going by, in chronological order, the calls that Jesus sent out when he was calling people to follow him. Okay, and these are the ones that we have recorded, and these are the ones that follow Jesus. So let's tune in here, okay? This one is titled, "Depart from me, I am a sinful man." It's important for us to think about while we're doing this. This is from Luke chapter 5, okay? Now I'm going to read it to you, and then we'll get some context. On one occasion, while the crowd was pressing in on him to hear the word of God, he, Jesus, was standing by the lake of Gennesaret. So this is just referring to the northwestern part of the Sea of Galilee, okay? I believe it's northwestern part. Yeah, it is near Capernaum, okay? So that's the northwest part of this area. And this is where Jesus actually had a home at one point. Yes, he did have a home at one point, okay? And he saw two boats by the lake. Jesus saw two boats by the lake. But the fishermen had gone out of them and were washing their nets. So they were preparing their nets. They were finished fishing. They were done. Okay, getting into one of the boats, which was Simon's. Now we're addressing whose boat this is. He asked him to put out a little from the land, and he sat down and taught the people from the boat. Now, just a quick side note here. When a teacher or rabbi was teaching, they sat down and everyone else stood up to hear the teacher. So when a teacher sat down, you knew what was coming was a lesson, a teaching of some kind. Imagine if that's how church was today. It'd be even emptier than it already is. Like the preacher's up there and a lazy boy just chilling, and everybody else is standing, and he's like, you know what, I feel like talking for a long time today, so hope you guys wore some comfy shoes, right? But they didn't have that back then. We're talking about sandals, standing in the sand, who knows what the conditions are. And Jesus sits down in the boat, and then he asks Simon to push away. So he's asking Simon basically, get in the boat and help me push this a little bit away from the land, because it says in the beginning there people were crowding around, and they're basically, I'm going to review with you why here in just a second, but he's being crowded to the point that people were pressing in on him, okay? So he puts out a little from the land, and he sits down, and he teaches the people from the boat. And when he had finished speaking, when he was done with his teaching, and who knows how long this was, okay, he says to Simon, okay, this is to Peter, he says, put out into the deep and let down your nets for a catch. So this is what he does. He says, I want you to go out here to the deeper area, okay, and I want you to throw your nets out, and you're going to throw them out for a catch. Okay, these are the words of Jesus. He's telling Simon what he wants him to do. It says, and Simon answered, Master, he calls Jesus Master, we toiled all night and took nothing. He says, I am a fisherman. I was out here fishing for the entire night, okay? All night long. You weren't here with me. I was out here. There's no fish out here. I fished the whole night, and I know how to fish. I know where to go to catch them, and I know what to do. These are probably all the things possibly. Okay, I'm just speaking from a fleshly term, okay, not from Peter's term. Just from a fleshly term. We took nothing in. But then he says this, and that's an exclamation point, right? That's a low dot heavy stick. He says, but at your word, I will let down the nets. So basically saying, you tell me where to go, you tell me where to throw them out, I'm going to throw them out. And that's what he did. He says, and when they had done this, exactly what he said, gone out into the deep and threw out their nets, it says they enclosed a large number of fish, and their nets were breaking. The nets that they were prepping, the nets that they were making sure were good and there wasn't anything wrong with them, were breaking. They signaled to their partners in the other boat to come and help them. Well, who were their partners? Because we didn't read about partners beforehand. Not that they weren't partners, but this is different wording. They signaled to their partners in the other boat to come and help them. The other boat was probably still offshore because he didn't ask them to go out that we know of. And they came and filled both boats so that they began to sink. Now, they had just come in from fishing all night long. They were cleaning up their nets. Jesus says, put out to the deep. Simon's like, we've already been there. We've been to this spot. There's nothing here. Throw out your nets. There's so much fish. They're breaking the nets that are made to hold fish. And they pull up this net of fish. And there's so many fish that the boats start to sink. I don't know if you can picture that or not, but that's a lot of fish. There are actually boats that are made to have men in them with fish. It says this, but when Simon Peter saw it, he fell down at Jesus' knees. And this is what he said, depart from me, for I am a sinful man, O Lord. And I have to rephrase this just for Holly, if she's listening. Depart from me, for I am a sinful man, O Lord. The boat is sinking. Peter is pricked in the heart. Why? Because he probably was just going to go out there and throw the net to show Jesus that there ain't nothing out here. I've already been here. I'm a fisherman, Jesus. This is what I do. Just imagine the feelings. Now let's put this into perspective. I do not know if he was saying or feeling any of these things. But what I do know is what it's like to be a human. What I do know is what it's like to be up all night. What I do know is what it's like to be unrested and unfed and worried about how I'm going to make ends meet. What I do know is what it feels like for somebody else to tell me how to do my job when they don't know what I'm doing. I do know what it's like to have pride. And I do know that when you combine all of those things together, I am a sinful man. And Peter, he falls at the knees of Jesus. And he says, you got to get away from me. You do not want to be anywhere near me. I'm a sinner. I'm a sinful man. You don't want to know the things that I was thinking. You don't want to know the anger that I had in my heart. You don't want to know the irritation that I had. He's probably a little afraid at the same time. He's like, how is this even possible? How is this possible? It says, for he and all who were with him were astonished at the catch of fish they had taken. And so also were James and John, sons of Zebedee, who were partners with Simon. Now, I don't know if they were partners before. It never talked about them being partners before, before they were called to follow Jesus. Who knows? They might have been rivals, each of them trying to fish for their own families or companies. And who knows how well they got along? I don't know. Again, this is just all speculation in this, just trying to live out what it looked like to be worldly and then godly. But now they're partners. And Jesus said to Simon, after Simon says this to him, and everybody is just, you ever been like so amazed at something that you're fearful? One time, I was at a golf tournament with my son, and we were under the thing because a storm was coming in, and lightning struck about 50 feet away from us and hit something. Okay? And I was astonished and in great fear when that happened, because of the power and the magnitude and the brightness of that lightning. Okay, so I can't imagine exactly what they were feeling, but I have an idea of what it feels like to be astonished. I'm sure you guys do too. Jesus says this, do not be afraid. Why would Jesus say don't be afraid if he didn't know they were afraid? Okay? He says don't be afraid. From now on, from this point forward, you will be catching men. And when they had brought their boats to land, they left everything and followed him. Now I want you to read Jesus' words real quick. Okay? He says, from now on, you'll be catching men. You're like, well, wait, didn't he already say this? Didn't we just read about this like yesterday or last night or 2 nights ago? Well, let's reverse back there real quick and let's read it, right? This is what he says. Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. Come with me. I'm going to turn you into disciples of me. And who does he have with him? Philip, Nathaniel. Who's he going to call next? James, John, more fishers. What transpires over this amount of time? So much. I'm about to tell you what it is right now. Okay, because this is time. It takes time for change. He says, I will make you, I will teach you to be fishers of men. Here, it's different. Right? Here, he says, from now on, you will be catching men. This is what you're doing from this point forward. From now on. So follow me and I'll make you fishers of men. Okay, I'm going to teach you. And now he's saying, from now on, you will be catching men. I should stop right now. And what I will do is I'll stop right now so that if you don't want to have the detailed version of this, you don't have to. But I'm going to continue to record a bonus session just taking off from this because I really don't feel like keeping you guys here longer than 10 minutes if that's all you got. I love that you give it 10 minutes. But if you want to give it more, just pop on over to the part B or the side B or flip the tape over and I'll give you the next piece.